Hello everyone, let's have more news about the Lakers, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Get out your summer of 2010 photoshops and dust them off, Mavs fans. Things are getting spooky. LeBron James opted into his player option with the Los Angeles Lakers at a number of $52.6 million. Generally, anytime a superstar opts into a player option instead of opting out and renegotiating a longer deal, even an elder statesman of the league like LeBron James, it generally means they aren't thrilled with the current situation. That is especially the case when Rich Paul, LeBron James's agent, and arguably the most powerful agent in the NBA right now, comes out and says after they pick up the player option to ESPN, LeBron wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. We are very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka, and consider the Lakers as a critical part of his career. We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that, are supportive, and want what's best for him. That sounds an awful lot like James could ask out if the roster isn't vastly improved this offseason. He wants to go out on a championship, and even with Luka Doncic now on the roster, it's a weird team. That outlook looks even bleaker now that former Maverick Dorian Finney-Smith declined his player option and seems bound to go to the Houston Rockets. If James does ask for a trade, he has a no-trade clause on his contract, so he could decide entirely where he lands. One destination that's possible, per Lakers reporter Jovan Buha, the Dallas Mavericks. Now let's go to another video. Don't forget to leave a like.
That I did not make it to the finals or did not win a championship has been a disappointment.
Well, folks, we got news. The King is back. ESPN senior NBA insider Shams Charania back with us. Oh, by the way, so is LeBron James. So, Shams, let me ask you. I hear he's back for a King's ransom, but with a twist.
Yeah, LeBron James opted into his contract. That's the first time he's ever opted into a contract. We know he's famous for those 1+1s. Well, this time he's not opting out. He's opting in $52.6 million. So we know he's going to be playing a record 23rd NBA season. Still not sure, will he play just one more season or multiple more years? But the story here is that LeBron James, I'm told, he wants to be a part of a championship team. And that means with the Lakers, what are they going to do this summer? Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul told me today that they understand where the Lakers are at, building for the future, building around LeBron James, as he says right there. LeBron understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. And that relationship between LeBron James and the Lakers has been fruitful. We know he's been there for 7-8 years, a championship. They've been to 2 Western Conference Finals berths as well. But we see right there, he's appreciative of the opportunity. Now, what are the Lakers going to do this offseason? And if anything, this throws a new wrinkle into free agency, because if LeBron James is thinking twice about his future, there's a lot to evaluate there.
Yeah, realistic chance of winning it all is not getting bounced early in the playoffs, that's for sure.
What can the Lakers do as far as making sure that he's locked in and they're locked into him to just give everybody some comfort as far as that goes?
Making big moves. So what does that look like? I mean, when you think about the center position, Rob Pelinka, the president of basketball operations, has been very clear. We want to go find a center, whether that's someone on the marketplace right now, a guy like Brook Lopez, Clint Capella, Al Horford, DeAndre Ayton. I just reported he's finalizing a contract buyout with the Portland Trailblazers. So there's plenty now of players on the potential market. Who could they look at? And then Dorian Finney-Smith, he opted out of his $15.4 million deal today. So he's going to be a free agent. Do they bring him back? And so there's questions around this roster, very legitimate questions around this roster.
We remember the whole Mark Williams fiasco with them. Like, as far as that center position goes, we know they are desperate for that size. But to move over to the other side of Tinseltown with the Clippers, they locked up James Harden for the foreseeable future. What does that mean for this squad?
2 years, $81.5 million extension, and it's an interesting second year. He's got a player option on year 2 in 2026-27, but it's also a partially guaranteed one. So it gives both sides flexibility for now and for next season. I think the Clippers right now are looking more the offseason of 2026. I'm told they're projecting potential max salary space next offseason, and so given that, the Clippers are going to try to look to add to the roster, and I think even this offseason, they're going to be active with the mid-level exception, about $15 million in salary space per year to use this offseason.
Plenty more coming up, right? With free agency right around the corner. And Shams, stick around. We're going to holler at you just hours away from free agency, but evidently Julius Randle won't be seeing that because the three-time All-Star forward intends to sign a 3-year deal worth 100 M's to remain a part of the Big Three in Minnesota. Notably, the T-Wolves reportedly have Naz Reid locked into a deal as well. Randle's coming off one heck of a postseason run, career highs in points per game and shooting percentage. And so now we get the chance to welcome back Shams Charania, the man whose screen time has to be absolutely absurd right about now. And look, to begin right there where I just started, the T-Wolves and all the activity that they've had thus far leading into free agency, what does that mean for solidifying their roster?
Critical to get Julius Randle back in the mix at that 3-year, $100 million. They got Naz Reid re-signed earlier to keep that core together with Anthony Edwards. We know Rudy Gobert is already there. These two big men as well, big part of it. Jaden McDaniels as well. But what this does mean is Nickeil Alexander-Walker is likely to depart elsewhere in free agency. This team is already in the second apron. They are heavy in on this team as far as luxury tax concerned. So they're going to mitigate it a little bit. You have to sacrifice a little bit when you're this deep into the luxury tax. But this is a team that's clearly pushed all its chips in, and they traded Karl Anthony Towns away last offseason. So this is really their core here with Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, Julius Randle at the bigs.
Now, on the opposite end of the spending spectrum is Portland, right? And what do we have breaking news on that front there?
Portland Trailblazers and DeAndre Ayton, their center, they are finalizing a contract buyout. He will become a free agent. This is a sudden, surprising addition to the free agent market because he had $35 million left on his deal next season, but he's set to become a free agent. This is a fresh opportunity for both sides. We know the Blazers just added Yang Hansen at number 16 overall pick. So they're pretty deep in terms of young, talented bigs. Listen, DeAndre Ayton is one of 4 players to average 10 points, 10 rebounds the last 7 seasons in the NBA. And remember, just in 2021, he was a top 3 player on that Suns team that made it to the NBA Finals against the Bucks. So this is a guy that has a lot of talent.
Yeah, when he came over from Phoenix, he was supposed to be the future. Now on his way out, they got Donovan Clingan and Hansen, like you said, so we'll see where they go. Another Western Conference team making moves, the Rockets. What's the latest move from them today?
I think this was a little bit of a surprise. Jabari Smith Jr. agreed to a 5-year, $122 million deal, rookie extension with the Rockets. So not the deal was surprised, but the fact that he's the first rookie extension guy off the board in that class. And so he's the only player in the 2022 draft class that have 2,500 points, 1,500 rebounds. The Rockets believe in his ability long-term so much, they excluded him from any conversations around Kevin Durant. They landed Kevin Durant anyway. And so the Rockets, they've done their business fast and furious these last 15 days. We see it right there with all the extensions. They give Ime Udoka massive extensions. Steven Adams, Jabari Smith, retain all their free agents. Fred VanVleet, Jayshawn Tate, Aaron Holiday, Jeff Green, and the biggest of them all, the acquisition of Kevin Durant.
Yeah, similar to Minnesota, right? They know where they're at, where they are in this Western Conference, so make the push when you can. Now, Shams, Detroit Pistons guard Malik Beasley made some headlines today with gambling allegations. What all does that entail?
So I'm told federal investigators are probing Pistons guard Malik Beasley on allegations of gambling on NBA games and prop bets. And the allegations stem from the 2023-24 NBA season, I'm told. And his attorney told me today an investigation is not a charge. Malik is afforded the same right of the presumption of innocence as anyone else under the U.S. Constitution. He has not been charged of anything right now, but his free agency has essentially stalled out. I'm told he was on track to sign a 3-year, $42 million deal with the Pistons ahead of this free agency. Teams can negotiate with their own free agent. That's what was going on. But now these talks are paused. This investigation is active and ongoing.
Yeah, tough situation there. I mean, like you say, investigation, not a charge, but still not a lot teams can do with him while all that's happening. Shams Charania with the various latest with the NBA. Got a lot coming up from you over the next couple of days.
Week.
First, we've got breaking news here on SportsCenter involving somebody on the NBA Mount Rushmore. We welcome in senior NBA insider Shams Charania. And Shams, 5 p.m. today, the deadline for players or teams to exercise options. One of those players with the decision to make is LeBron James. What more can you tell us?
Phil, LeBron James is opting in to his nearly $53 million player option for the 2025-2026 season. So what we do know is he will be playing a record 23rd NBA season. Still not sure whether he's going to play one more season or he has multiple years left. but I'm told he wants to compete for a championship next season, and he is uncertain about the Lakers roster moving forward. And my understanding is James is supportive of the Lakers positioning themselves around Luka Doncic, building for the future. And Rich Paul told me this morning, the Clutch Sports CEO, that the Lakers have been true partners of his and LeBron James for 8 seasons while he's been there. But as we see right there, he also told me the franchise is going to do what's best for them. They understand that they have to do what's best for the long term. And this adds an interesting wrinkle here in free agency. LeBron James is evaluating how he wants to finish his career.
That is a lengthy statement there from Rich Paul, and we know Luka's eligible for a 4-year extension, August 2nd. So with what you've been told, that statement we've just read, what does it all mean for the Lakers and LeBron moving forward? The
Lakers' perspective is they're doing everything they can to build the team the right way, to try to compete for a championship. We know they're in the center market right now. So you look at centers like Brook Lopez, Clint Capella, Al Horford, all available in the market. They're also dealing with Dorian Finney-Smith. He's got a player option decision, $15.4 million player option. He also faces a deadline later today. So they're doing what they can, but LeBron James clearly is of the mindset that he wants to compete for a championship, and he's going to be monitoring very closely. Are the Lakers going to make the moves that puts them in position to seriously compete in that vaunted Western Conference? And then if not, where do those conversations go? That becomes a subplot of this offseason.
Lakers, the 4 seed last year in the West. LeBron turns 41 in December. A whole lot of numbers to digest and parse through it. Shams, thanks so much for the update. You're with us all morning on SportsCenter as we get more info on this.
NBA front office insider Bobby Marks is with us right now. You just heard Shams and saw that Rich Paul's quote right there about LeBron officially opting into his player option for the upcoming season. Bobby, how can the Lakers upgrade their roster around LeBron James and Luka with the assets they have available?
I mean, I think there's 2 ways to look at it. I think certainly from the free agency perspective and then the trade market. We'll start with free agency here. A lot has to do with that player option of Dorian Finney-Smith. If Smith opts into that contract by 5 p.m., the Lakers will have the $5.7 million tax mid-level exception to go out and try to get a player like Brook Lopez or Clint Capella. If he opts out, that number increases potentially to $14 million. Here we're looking at their trade assets that they have going into the offseason. They're in a good spot with expiring contracts, over $60 million when you look at Rui Hachimura, Maxi Kleber, and Gabe Vincent. They have that 1 first-round pick. Remember where they saw it? They tried to trade that in February. It's either in 2031 or 2032. And they have a 1 player on that rookie contract in Dalton Connect. So it's a little bit of 2 things. It's free agency. The Finney-Smith number plays a big role as far as what they're going to have available. And then, of course, exploring the trade market.
And look, we talk about it all the time. LeBron James being 40 years old, we don't know how much longer he's going to be playing in the NBA. How much pressure does Father Time put on the Lakers as well?
Well, they're almost operating under 2 timelines, right? Remember, they acquired Luka, who is extension eligible for $229 million on August 2nd. And now they have a player like LeBron James in the last year of his contract with the Lakers here. So you're trying to win now, but you're also trying to set the stage for the future when LeBron James is not on this roster.
Yeah, a good thing, though, that LeBron James and his camp with Rich Paul, they're
5 p.m. today, the deadline for players or teams to exercise options. One of those players with the decision to make is LeBron James. What more can you tell us?
Phil, LeBron James is opting in to his nearly $53 million player option for the 2025-2026 season. So what we do know is he will be playing a record 23rd NBA season. Still not sure whether he's going to play 1 more season or he has multiple years left. But I'm told he wants to compete for a championship next season, and he is uncertain about the Lakers roster moving forward. And my understanding is James is supportive of the Lakers positioning themselves around Luka Doncic, building for the future. And Rich Paul told me this morning, the Clutch Sports CEO, that the Lakers have been true partners of his and LeBron James for 8 seasons while he's been there. But as we see right there, he also told me the franchise is going to do what's best for them. They understand that they have to do what's best for the long term. And this adds an interesting wrinkle here in free agency. LeBron James is evaluating how he wants to finish his career.
That is a lengthy statement there from Rich Paul, and we know Luka's eligible for a 4-year extension, August 2nd. So with what you've been told, that statement we've just read, what does it all mean for the Lakers and LeBron moving forward?
The Lakers' perspective is they're doing everything they can to build the team the right way, to try to compete for a championship. We know they're in the center market right now. So you look at centers like Brook Lopez, Clint Capella, Al Horford, all available in the market. They're also dealing with Dorian Finney-Smith. He's got a player option decision, $15.4 million player option. He also faces a deadline later today. So they're doing what they can, but LeBron James clearly is of the mindset that he wants to compete for a championship, and he's going to be monitoring very closely. Are the Lakers going to make the moves that puts them in position to seriously compete in that vaunted Western Conference? And then if not, where do those conversations go? That becomes a subplot of this offseason.
Lakers, the 4 seed last year in the West. LeBron turns 41 in December. A whole lot of numbers to digest and parse through it. Shams, thanks so much for the update. You're with us all morning on SportsCenter as we get more info on this.
Trade and free agency markets, we've got another big one. DeAndre Ayton, the former number 1 overall pick, securing a buyout with the Portland Trailblazers. Could he be bound for the Los Angeles Lakers? I'm Trevor Lane. This is the LakersNation.com YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right, here's what's going on right now. And by the way, I'm going to be going live in just a bit here on the LakersNation.com YouTube channel to discuss all of this. Take your questions, your comments. But for now, DeAndre Ayton finalizing a contract buyout with the Portland Trailblazers to become a free agent, sources tell ESPN. That's via Shams Charania. A sudden addition to the free agent market. This gives Ayton, a former number 1 overall pick who went to the NBA Finals with the Suns, a chance to receive a fresh opportunity as the Trailblazers build around their depth of young centers. You know, it was a surprise when the Blazers did the things they did on draft night. They've already got plenty of young bigs. DeAndre Ayton was making $36 million sitting on their books, and now he's receiving a buyout. Now, the big question here, and I guess there's a number of big questions here, but one of the big questions is how much is he giving back in order to get away from the Portland Trailblazers? And keep in mind, word has been that the Blazers have been exploring the trade market for DeAndre Ayton and finding nothing, no interest in him whatsoever. And the problem has been that $35.5 million really salary that he's got is just so difficult to try to work up to. I've been talking about this for weeks. People have been bringing up DeAndre Ayton. Should the Lakers trade for him? And trying to get to that number is just so challenging and so prohibitive, particularly given that DeAndre Ayton has frankly not lived up to his draft stock. I don't think that's a hot take at all. He's come nowhere close. He got traded by the Phoenix Suns. And frankly, the best player in that deal, trading DeAndre Ayton from the Phoenix Suns, has wound up being Toumani Camara, who the Portland Trailblazers got as kind of a throw-in in the trade. That said, he puts up some decent numbers in Portland, 14.4 points, 10.2 rebounds. Look, he's a double-double guy, been a double-double guy his entire career. That said, I'll admit, I'm not super high on DeAndre Ayton. I've not been. Doesn't have a particularly high motor for a big man, and that's not something that you want to see. I'm not particularly sold on his rim protection ability. I think it's there. I think he can get there, but we don't see it consistently enough from him. And so I think there are some concerns there. That said, I think this situation also changes everything. Also changes the entire calculation on whether or not the Lakers should go after DeAndre Ayton. I've largely been on the side of no, I don't think they should. But a lot of that was evaluating that the Lakers would have to stack up probably Rui Hachimura in a deal, if not at least Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, and perhaps Maxi Kleba, plus whatever kind of assets the Portland Trailblazers would actually want to take on in order to make a DeAndre Ayton trade work. And now all that is out the door. All of that is out the door because now he's a free agent and you could get him without having to surrender any future assets. Now, on top of that, the Lakers did see Dorian Finney-Smith opt out of his player option today, which makes the Lakers now have the full mid-level exception available to them currently. Now, Dorian Finney-Smith may or may not want to stay with the Los Angeles Lakers. I will talk a little bit more about that and give a little bit of detail when I go live in just a little bit here. It'll be 8:30 Pacific time. I'll go live and I'll talk more about the Finney-Smith situation, what we're hearing there, the LeBron situation, what we're hearing there, all of that. But the bottom line is if you can get DeAndre Ayton without having to give up any future assets, and we're just talking about perhaps a mid-level exception deal here for Aiden. I think he makes a lot of sense for the Los Angeles Lakers. From former number one overall pick, ironically, the number one pick in the year that Luka was drafted. Luka was the third pick. Aiden was the number one overall pick. If anybody's going to get the best out of him, it would be Luka, and he now jumps, DeAndre Ayton does, to the very top of the center line for the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm talking Brook Lopez. I'm talking ahead of Clint Capella, Al Horford, any of those other guys that are out there in free agency. DeAndre Ayton's number one. There's no question. Look, I'm not a big fan of DeAndre Ayton. He's ahead of Brook Lopez, 37-year-old Brook Lopez, 31-year-old Clint Capella, 39-year-old Al Horford. DeAndre Ayton is a physically in his prime big man that does offer some rim protection, can be a little bit of a lob threat. I think he takes way too many mid-range jumpers. And so first and foremost, you would have to curb that. 39% on his jump shot. That's not going to get the job done. However, he is pretty adept with the hook shots and things like that, does well there. And so I'd like to see the Lakers actually give this a real look. So does he make sense for the Los Angeles Lakers? I think, yes, he does, in that he is the best of the free agent bigs who are out there. And clearly the Lakers need a big man. They need a starting center. And I do think the Lakers are the most attractive starting job available on the market. However, that said, they're not the only starting job out there on the market. Definitely not. The Charlotte Hornets are now badly in need of a center after trading Yusuf Nurkic today. The San Antonio Spurs have been widely known to be out there on the market looking for a center to play next to Victor Wembanyama. There are other teams out there that are looking to fill the center position. It's not just your Los Angeles Lakers. That said, I would have to imagine that the starting center job, catching lobs from Luka Doncic on the Los Angeles Lakers, would have to hold quite a bit of appeal. Now, will the Lakers pivot and go after Aiden? Obviously, this is a big surprise that he is suddenly available, though I do want to throw in that DeAndre Ayton and Luka Doncic just so happen to share the same agent. Maybe we can start connecting the dots. Again, nothing of
Will LeBron James entertain returning to Cleveland if the Los Angeles Lakers fail to furnish him a championship-ready roster for his 23rd season? Kevin O'Connor suggested a possible trade framework should James demand a trade, while urging the Cavaliers to go all in and bring home the soon-to-be 41-year-old superstar for a swan song. LeBron James to the Cavaliers would require getting under the second apron, which would mean losing Jarrett Allen, Darius Garland, and a third guy, probably Max Struss, O'Connor wrote on X. It's a lot to give up for a player who may not put you over the top and may have only 1 year left. Then again, Allen has folded in the playoffs and Garland is a tiny guard, O'Connor continued. Could trading them be a low-key salary dump for Cleveland? Then, whenever LeBron retires, the front office would have cap flexibility to build next to Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley with better-fitting players than Allen and Garland. So, in a strange way, adding LeBron could help optimize their short-term title odds while also helping in the longer term. It'd be a complicated trade. A third team at least would have to be involved. A lot would have to go out, but if the chance is there, the Cavs should all in on LeBron. The 64-win Cavaliers team that flopped in the playoffs could intrigue James. Joining forces with Mitchell and Mobley could give him a better shot at competing for a championship in a weakened Eastern Conference than with the Lakers in a loaded Western Conference. In O'Connor's trade proposal, the Lakers get younger with Garland 25 and Allen 27, who fits Luka Doncic's timeline better. James put more pressure on the Lakers front office following Rich Paul's comments explaining his top client's decision to opt in instead of his customary opt out and sign a new 1+1 deal. And you, fan, what do you think about LeBron James' situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.